Hey guys, Chasing Sports Media here. Welcome back to another video. I kind of wanted to discuss something, right? So I was on Twitter looking at like kind of fights that are coming up, fights that may be getting booked. What's the future looking like for the UFC, especially come summer? And guys, I truly think we're getting spoiled. I mean, right now as we're sitting, it's only April 2nd. We have Max Holloway, Arnold Allen fighting this month, Sergey Popovich, and Curtis Blades coming up. We have UFC 287. It's an unreal time right now for UFC and MMA with Bellator, PFL just kicking off. I mean, all these things happening, but it's always, we're always looking ahead. June 3rd, we have Brendan Allen and Jack Hermanson fighting. That's another thing that just got booked. But today's kind of focus is like July. I mean, July's looking out, right? Nothing's like super official right now. Dana hasn't come out and said anything, but I mean, July's kind of looking crazy, guys. There's a lot of good fights that are going out in July. And the first one I wanted to kind of, again, rumored and talked about is definitely going to be Stipe Miocic. I can't say his name right. Stipe, the heavyweight GOAT, versus John Jones. Arguably what people think is the GOAT. Heavyweight, for the belt. This is big, man. This isn't just one of those fights where it's like, man, we are so goddamn lucky to have this kind of fight. Stipe, who has obviously had, not had the best recent success after, taking that really hard hit from Francis Ngannou getting knocked out, And on the other thing, it's like we see John Jones, who just took 3 years off and then was only in the ring for 2 minutes, right? It's like there's still, although John had such a good performance against Cyril, and got him right away, submitted him in the first 2 minutes. There's still a lot of questions, I would say, him being at heavyweight. I would still say how he's going to handle that weight, how his endurance is going to look, and everything. But we know how Stipe is going to look, for the most part. We know from history, we can kind of look at what Stipe is going to look like. But we would probably say that Stipe would change his game up a little bit, just from the threat that we get from the possible submissions and from John Jones and whatnot. But, I mean, this match is huge. I guess my question to you guys for the comments is this their last fight? Either of them, respectfully. Per se, maybe John wins. Does Stipe want to run it back, or does Stipe retire? If Stipe wins, gets the belt, does he retire on a high note, or does he want to come back? If John wins, does he want to fight the winner of Sergey and Curtis Blades, and vice versa with Stipe? I don't know. What's the point of one of them winning and running the gauntlet? They proved everything they needed to. They're both the GOATs of their respective divisions, and a little bit more on top of that. They're award winners. They bring in so much money. They're millionaires. I don't know. I really do think, unless they're doing a rematch, that this is going to be the last one for both of them. I really do. But, again, we'll have to wait for them to decide that. The next big fight that's been rumored currently is apparently rumored for July. This is very recent. Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight championship. Again, a fight that Leon clearly and came out and appropriately said, I don't want this fight. He's like, Kobe doesn't deserve it. But unfortunately, Leon, there's only a few guys that get to make that decision, in my eyes. I think, like, McGregor's one of them, right? McGregor gets to make those kind of decisions, my guy, not you. It's Dana. It's Dana's season. Colby brings in the money, and that's what they want. That's why he's going to get the shot. So that's going to be exciting, definitely. I mean, Leon coming off of a 2 great performances against Kamaru Usman, went to a head shot dead and then a decision win. Colby Covington, on the other hand, recent fight with Jorge, he's also coming off of two title losses against Usman, so he's a little bit unknown because he's kind of sat out for a little bit now. But that division's kind of weird, and honestly, like, you're looking at it, Colby's probably the most deserving, maybe Bilal Muhammad, but then also Shavkat, apparently him are fighting. But I don't know, that's gonna be a good fight. I personally would say Colby Covington wins that fight in July, and that would be at London, I'm assuming, too. Because it's Leon fighting. But yeah, I mean, that's another fight that's booked for, or looking to get booked for July. So already, John Jones and Stipe, which is just a legendary fight. And then you have someone who hates another person, Colby, who hates Leon and wants his belt, fighting him. That'll be great. I mean, they've been back talking each other for a while now. Colby going on all these interviews, back talking and saying what he wants to, right? And then you kind of look at another fight that was apparently like talked about getting booked for May 13th or whatnot, but it's Merab, the Machine, versus Umar Nurmagomedov, which is also interesting. Which is also, obviously Umar is not one of those top 5 guys, but we all know that name, Nurmagomedov, that guy from Dagestan is going to be a fucking beast in that division. We already know that. We truly know that he's going to be a goddamn monster. And Henry Cejudo had came out and said, Umar is probably the hardest opponent for him in that division, which is insane because he's not even a top 5 guy. So I mean that bantamweight division, but that's a whole other episode. God damn it, that bantamweight division is insane. But yeah, that's another fight. That's looking to get booked, and then you guys, you also have Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa, possibly that happening, or maybe a Robert Whittaker fight in July, right? There's just like the Chimaev versus Costa beef, and you put that in July on one of those cards. Oh my god, guys, that would be July 22nd, 291. I would assume they would put the Chimaev Costa with the Leon Colby. I just think that card would be totally stacked. Or you put that John Jones on there. That's one of the ones. But the Chimaev versus Costa is definitely something I want to see, and I need to see that. That would definitely be so good. I don't know, when you're like looking at it, and then like you also have Cody Garbrandt, apparently that he was offered a rematch with Dominic Cruz for July, which is insane. I guess, Cody Garbrandt's a shell of his former self, when Dominic Cruz is, I would say say still high level, but I would still say he's kind of a shell of his former self, which is, I mean, there are some really good fights. What would I be most excited for? I don't know. Oh, also, guys, we got to talk about how, like, if it's going back to London in July or England in July, like, you would also see a return of Tom Aspinall, right? I mean, honestly, that's what I would think. I would think you would get that. Maybe Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Maybe that's a good fight you can have there. But yeah, I don't know which one makes me excited for. I don't know. I guess the Colby versus Leon, just because it's Colby, and he brings in the pay-per-view sales, and he would, he's going to trash talk and whatnot. I wonder when Chandler and McGregor's gonna get booked. I wonder. But I mean, I'll update it once I get it on my Twitter. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment, like, and turn the post notification bell on. Trying to pump out some content this week. We do have a pre-fight show with Drew and Owen coming up for 287. Right on Fights, where we can get you guys some bets locked in for this week. And also, I'll tell you this, guys, now we do have some special appearances coming on. We have some fighter interviews with some main event fighters coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys updated with that. Nonetheless, guys, have a great rest of your day.